What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I wanted to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's happening with the market for the pre-market and break down some important data that's coming out later on today. But let me first mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you guarantee 20 free stocks. This offer ends in just a few hours from now. It's almost over, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, when it comes to the market, I just want to say that right now SPY remains range bound. We're going to see a very, very big move based off some data that's about to come out. So note that today is Monday, July 1st, 2024. Happy second half of the year. The second half is just about to start. We're going to be looking for some very interesting volatility. Now, 15 minutes after the market opens, we have the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI coming out. And then 30 minutes after market open, we have the ISM Manufacturing PMI, the ISM Manufacturing Employment, not to mention the new orders and prices. All this data will be coming out 30 minutes after the market ends up opening. And that's going to be very, very important. So I want to note that this is going to be key, especially new orders and prices. It's going to give us more insights for manufacturing data and help us learn more about how prices are looking for inflationary data. So expect some volatility at 10 o'clock a.m. We'll see if this leads to the market pumping or dumping. When it comes to big news, I also want to call out that we're entering parts two of the year, the second half of the year. The first half was actually pretty good as the Nasdaq was up 18.1% for the first 6 months of the year, and the S&P 500 was up 14.5%, which is absolutely insane. Now, for Boeing, it said basically it's going to buy back one of its important makers for Spirit Aerosystems in an all-stock deal worth about $4.7 billion. That is some big news for it, and this will lead to a lot of changes, at least in their spending. On top of this, we also had some new news coming out, at least for Disney, as they've released the new movie Inside Out 2, which is already up $1.014 billion worldwide, which is not bad whatsoever, and so far, good news for them. Now, for Tesla, I just wanted to call out that we have deliveries numbers coming out. There's a lot of negative headlines coming out as well, saying that Wall Street's ready for disappointment. They're anticipating a big drop and this and that. So we'll see how things end up developing for Tesla. The deliveries data comes out tomorrow, so I can't wait to see how that ends up leading to volatility. So now I'm going to be looking for some ranges on SPY. As of right now, SPY is kind of shuffling between 545.8 and about 544. It's all it's been doing during the pre-market. Might come down a bit upon open and try to rebound, just trade sideways. Then at 10 o'clock in, we will see what the big move is once we get our important manufacturing numbers. If we break past 547, look for a pump for 550. If we lose 544, I could be looking for a test closer to 542, very close to our 4-hour 50 EMA. If we lose 542.5, the support right here, we're going to be looking for a much bigger dip. And then this double top leg structure could lead to a sell-off. So we will see. Lose 542, we're bearish. Break 547, we could push higher. We're kind of stuck right now in between those levels. So I'm going to give this a little bit more time to develop, and we'll be watching for this to see what the big reaction is. As of right now, SPY looks like it might dip a bit and kind of rebound and trade sideways in a range. And then we'll see what the big reaction is once all this data comes out at 10 o'clock a.m. So always be patient as traders and always know what data is coming out. That's going to be key for us. As far as Tesla goes, we are entering a chop zone. We do love to chop in the very low 200s as we approach deliveries. I think that Tesla may try to pump a little bit higher, retest 202 or so, come back down, just trade sideways within this range for some time. And then don't worry about Tesla for today, because the real move is going to come tomorrow when we get our deliveries data. So we'll see what that leads to. Tesla's going to make a massive move. I can't wait to see what it looks like, and that's going to be key for the share price. For Nvda, we have a very nice looking flag that's forming. This is once again in a channel, and this could lead to either a big breakout if we break past this resistance at 127. If we fail to do so, we're going to likely maintain this channel, and we ended up tagging 120 exactly as I predicted yesterday. I called out 120. So far, so good for Nvidia. So it might continue to stay within this channel for now, unless we get a breakout. But as of right now, we haven't done that. So assume we're just going to remain in the channel. For Bitcoin, we are dipping a little bit. We could come down to retest our 50 EMA. We could retest 62,000, but then see if we get a big bounce. If we do get a big bounce, we will continue to push higher all the way up to 64,000. If we lose the support, we'll be dipping back down to 60,500. As of right now, it looks like I may dip and then bounce. Looking pretty good so far. For the triple Q, we're looking decent right now. We're kind of range bound, going back and forth and back and forth. We have 482 and 484 as resistance, and we have support all the way down here around 478. I think that right now the QQQ kind of has a double top, so we might just trade sideways. Might be a little dip here since we're not really holding 480 that well. We might dip a little bit towards 478 or so, then come back up and just trade kind of sideways. So we'll see how we end up developing within this range, but that's all that's kind of like happening so far. We've been going back and forth. I think that we're going to dip a little bit for the QQQ and then watch and see what the big reaction is once the data comes out. So upon open, look for a little dip and some sideways price action in this range right here. And then once the data comes out, we will see if we get a breakout. If we break 484, we turn really bullish. If we end up losing 475, I'll be looking for a dip. And then if we lose the low from right over here at 473, I'll be looking for an even bigger dip to 468. So make sure you watch those levels. Just know that we're kind of range bound for now. For Apple's also just completely trading sideways, but let me just call this out. We still have kind of like a little channel that's forming here as we're developing a wedge. So we're still kind of range bound right here, at least on Apple. And I think that we're kind of stuck between resistance at 212 and support at 210. So we may just remain stuck here, at least for the time being, going back and forth and back and forth. If we break 212, we'll be looking for a big push for 214. If we lose 210, we'll be dipping all the way down to 207. Otherwise, we're just completely stuck, at least for the time being. For a few more tickers, I just want to mention that we also have Coinbase. If Coinbase continues to fall, which we likely will, we could come down to fill this gap towards 222. So look for a little dip as a strong possibility. Then we'll see if we bounce or not as we have this channel forming. So I do think we're going to kind of maintain this channel, maybe dip a little bit and then trade kind of sideways there. For Amazon, I think we're going to be retesting 192.6 to 193. If we lose that, we'll be looking for 189. If we hold this, we will try to rebound. As right now, I'm seeing a little bit of weakness. Look for a little dip. Watch and see if we lose this support at the 20 EMA on the 4-hour time frame or not. If we lose this, we'll be looking for a dip. If we hold this, we try to bounce. So watch for that big test. For Meta, it's the same thing. If we lose 504, look for a dip all the way down to 498. If we hold this, we're going to try to rebound to 510. I do see it dipping a little bit upon open, and we'll see how it ends up reacting here. Same thing with Microsoft. We're kind of dipping a little bit. We're retesting 450. If we reject, we're dipping back down to 445. If we break this, we could push higher, so we'll see if we get a rejection or not. For Google, we're also coming back down a little bit. Look for 184 as support. If we lose this, we'll be dipping all the way back down towards 182. And if we hold this, we could rebound. So I do see a risk of us dipping a little bit lower. GameStop's also dipping a bit. The inverse head and shoulders is failing, unfortunately. Look for a test of 22. We'll see if we hold that or not. AMC is also dipping a little bit. We could be retesting 4.77, so we'll see how it does. If it loses that, we'll be dipping even lower, so we'll give it some time. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening. That's it for your update, at least for now. The market is showing signs that's range bound, but we're going to get a big reaction to data, so make sure you watch the levels I called out. Remember, SPY is range bound unless we break some key levels, then we'll see a very, very big move, and we will see one direction prevail. So I'm just going to be very patient as a trader. So wait for all this data to come out, especially at 10 o'clock a.m. And there's going to be a very big move coming, either to the upside or the downside. We will see which way SPY breaks as we have these important ranges. All right. So that being said, thank you all so much for listening. I will see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours. Until then, have a great day and peace out.